Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ray and we are here to jump into episode 4 of season 3 of the Wheel of Time. So, we left off last episode. We had the kind of opening salvo of 3 episodes. Everything went to shit at the White Tower. Liandrin took off with a bunch of relics and Angreal, all kinds of shit from the vaults with a handful of other dark friends. But of course, there's some that are probably left behind in the White Tower. So Siuan is having Elaine and Nynaeve go on the hunt. And they have followed the trail towards Liandrin's hometown, Tenchico. So Elaine, Nynaeve, and Matt and Min followed them, although they don't know that she's following. So they're on their way to Tenchico. Perrin is back in the Two Rivers where there are white cloaks everywhere and Trollocs, and so he's about to kick off his storyline with Bornhold, Dane Bornhold. And then we have Rand, Moiraine, Lan, Egwene, Avienda, all traveling to the Aiel Waste. So they've met up with Aiel clan. So yeah, I'm ready to get into episode 4. This is the first episode that's going to be going weekly. So I've got all 3 episodes up on my Patreon. So if you're seeing this on YouTube, I'm probably much further ahead. I'm probably closer to the end of the season, to be honest, on Patreon. So feel free to jump over there if you're interested in, early access. But anyway, I'm ready to jump into this episode. I'm super excited. We're going to be in the Aiel Waste, y'all. We're going to be in the Aiel Waste, y'all. And if you've read the books, you know what's about to happen. All right, let's get into it.
A flame in my mind and feed everything into it.
He's like,
hate, anger. Until my mind was empty.
That technique is...
He was a blade master, your father.
Yeah, I was like, he's like,
There's a lot I don't know about him. I know he was a soldier when he was younger, before me. But our life was just the sheep in the mountains.
Change comes like an avalanche, whether we want it or not.
Tis true. Can't stop the future from happening.
I told you not to touch a sword.
Oop, she's pissed.
You don't touch swords. So am I you or not? You can't see.
You.
He's like, I don't give up my sword at all, ever. All right, we about to have a fight. Showdown. Avienda versus Lan. Challenge. Come on. Titties out and everything.
Are you asking me to dance? Naline.
All right, this is gonna be a fight. Ooh, not the split. Not them kind of having fun.
You cannot run from what you must be.
Oop, there we go. Time's up. Her last fight was with Lan. Well, her last spear fight was with Lan. Oof. Oof. Tough.
I too refused when called.
Can't be a warrior anymore. Well, at least not in that way. This is very much like an unmasking. That was such a capital M moment, right?
Tomorrow?
What do you want?
Yeah.
I want you to tell me what you're going to do so I can help you.
Pretty sure
You've
he's
never
just gonna
tried to help me, Moiraine.
walk in.
That's all I've ever done.
debatable.
Do you feel like you know all there is to know?
Tell me whatever I decide to do. You won't try to stop me. Say it plain, so I know it's true.
I will do nothing to hinder you from fulfilling your destiny.
It's not exactly what he asked, but okay.
I've devoted my life to that.
Yeah, it's very... Like, her words are very tricky, you know?
We approach Ruirian now.
So you've been.
Mm-hmm.
The very few that make it out alive. Every chief on the left arm.
The people of the Dragon.
That's what they called us once. The
There you go.
Karakarn. He who comes with the dawn will be marked twice. That is how we will know him.
Mm-hmm. Pause before we get into this. Obviously, what he just said was the reference from the prophecy that he was reading a couple episodes ago with, actually in the first episode, with Loial. And he was like, what does the people of the dragon even mean? And the answer is this, exactly. He went by his instincts and he found exactly where he needed to go. Ancient city.
A city in the clouds.
I answer yes.
This man is no Aiel. It's death for him to be on this ground.
My mother was a...
Your father, yes. But your mother?
He presents himself like a woman!
Madeleine.
Pause. Nice little... He thought that it was his mother who was Aiel, and he was incorrect. Fascinating. Love it.
It's death for him to be on...
Why
Try
did
to
you
make this
even
Westlander
try?
one of us. He's soft. Ruirian will kill him.
Well, we'll know soon enough.
Go back to your tents, Kuladin. You as well, Ruach. And you.
Armed up.
Once more.
He is of the past.
And she is of the future.
I mentioned it earlier that I find it very interesting. Like, we had this
Be
idea
gone
of
from among the living.
Matt
And do not haunt us with memories of what is lost.
seeing the past
Speak not
and
of what the dead see.
men seeing the future. And we have it here again, this kind of theme of seeing all
Ready?
parts of time.
No.
You know? But of course, in the Wheel of Time, time is a circle. Everything that's past is future, and everything that's future is past. At all times. Lovely visuals, by the way. How do you...
Doesn't seem like Aiel work.
No, it is not. This is an ancient, ancient, ancient city. Beautiful. Look at that visual, y'all. That's gorgeous. They snap, y'all. They snap this season. Oh my god. This is the season. If you want to snap with the visuals, this is the season you do it.
The tree of life.
We always knew the Aiel had it. Where I grew up, the Aiel entrusted a sapling of a Vendosora to
Indeed
carry
they
in
did.
hundreds of years ago.
Tree
In
killers.
payment of some debt even older. On the slopes of Dragon Mount. And killed him there.
Mm-hmm. And that's where you were born. 20 years ago.
That's why my
Or
mother
20, 21, 22 years ago.
wasn't dragon because your uncle cut down that tree.
Indeed. We're all connected, hon. We're all part of some pattern.
We've been connected since before I was born.
Sometimes it's as fragile as gossamer.
One wrong move and it tears.
You shouldn't have come here.
Well, too late for that. We're here now. We here now. Come on, baby. So he's traveling through his ancestors. Remember that. His father.
What's wrong with you? Fight!
Oh, he's fighting without his covering. I know we gotta see the actor's face, but that does actually bother me a little bit. Then again, we're seeing it from Rand's point of view, so.
Come, quick!
Lame soldier shooting me this far up the mountain. I found her.
Where?
Oof. Yeah, this is just after her mother was killed, or his mother was killed. That we saw. Damn. And the baby's gone.
Oh. My love.
Tough.
I found their king. Those three.
Tough.
I took his life. It was my own spear.
Tough. Indeed. So he only made it that forward, that far. So you have to keep going back through your history. Each step, make it out the other side. And that guy is fucking stuck. They've done some fine makeup work here. Cool spear. So I don't think this is his grandfather. This is much further back. Never mind. This is when Rhuidean first was created by Aes Sedai. Ooh. We're getting so much lore, y'all, and history. I love it. This is gonna be. It's gonna be the talk of the town. I have avoided all spoilers. I have muted everything I possibly could.
Latra posei datsume.
Created the glass goblins.
Your chiefs
Dope
will
looking.
go through these columns and walk the footsteps of your blood ancestors. See the world through their eyes.
So it's fascinating because obviously, people just dying. Just centuries of people dying. Pause, because it's very intense. I think what's super interesting about this is that walking the path of your ancestors, your blood ancestors, means that you are literally walking their paths. So his father, if his father had become chief, his father would have seen this. Or his grandfather, or whoever the last chief was in his bloodline. They all saw the same thing. They all saw the same past. Because they are all blood related, you know? I think that's really kind of poetic and beautiful. Hold on.
Just, you know, it's from before the break-in. They say it makes you feel peaceful just to sit beneath its branches.
So this is the tree before it grew really big.
Here! Get away from there!
Indeed.
All will be well. All will be well, and all manner of things will be well.
So obviously I know that this is revealing to the audience that the Aiel used to be Tuatha'an. You know?
You heard her. They're still alive. No violence.
I don't think it's gonna be that easy. Here we go. Can you believe it? Tuatha'an being thousands of years old? Like, you think the way of the leaf is something that
on the right side
would
of the fire.
die out really quickly, but it
I'll wake
doesn't.
them.
It endured.
Quietly. We sneak them away while their men are still asleep.
What if they wake?
They ain't got a watch, though? Like, some terrible bandits. Or they might have a watch and they're just lying in wait. Oh, pause. They aren't supposed to fight.
No, Lloyd! No!
He's killed someone with a spear.
Mercy of the light, be with us.
One died, but they rescued the two girls.
They did kill Charlotte.
Tough.
You killed?
They took my grandfather.
What else is there?
Ooh, we could have a whole conversation about that.
I no longer I either.
Who are you that calls me mother?
Yeesh.
Hide your face from me, stranger. I had a son once with a face like that.
That's why Aiel always cover their faces when they
Hide your
fight.
face.
Protect them. They can't do violence,
But we can.
but we can.
And then not only are you seeing that, but your ancestor is the one who did that. Like, it's not like just you were there, you were some, nobody in the wagon or whatever. Like, no, you did. Ooh, the camera work on this episode to make everything feel really unnerving and eerie and weird. It's nice. Gotta look up the crew, the director and editor, etc. after this. Look at that. That's weird and interesting and fun in terms of like the visuals of it. Alright, so. She said, taking that. She really be journeying. Moiraine, she really be out here. For 20 straight years. Oop, and there's Avi. She left the day before. I love this magic shit, y'all. Listen, this is why you read high fantasy, bro. It's magic shit. Just weirdness.
Do you accept the bond?
These are all the different possible choices that she could make for the future. Make him her warder. Interesting. Pause. No, I want to go back. Because these are super interesting. No, I'm going to go back because I want to see them and think about them. So she becomes Swan's fishwife. She becomes Amerlin with Egwene as her, you know who it is.
No, don't do this to me!
And then she kills Rand.
I release you from your bond.
She releases Lan from the bond and then walks away. You don't know when that happens, but... And then she takes Rand as a warder.
I do.
Ooh. Somebody set that man on fire. Oh, he's got the 2 dragons on his arm. That was like really beautiful, the way it just kept going in a circle. I love all the circle motifs that they've put in the show. From the beginning all the way to now. There's a lot of circle motifs. They ain't make it.
We've had enough.
The spine. My daughter dreamed that.
We're going south.
the Aes Sedai have killed the last man who can channel. The earth is settling.
This is
We'll
right
find
after the
someplace
breaking.
safe, someplace where we can sing the songs of harvest again. You remember the song?
I remember it.
Tough. Like, I love that you can see the future Aiel like culture in these. The fact that they don't actually bury their dead, they cover them with rocks. The tree.
And someday you
the
will
veil.
too.
Gonna flash to him trying to push his way through. Yeah. He's past that other guy.
Each step forward, a step backward.
Sometimes hundreds. Not these Doc Martin looking boots. Alright, this is the Age of Legends now. Remember her from the first season?
Echor, Sono,
And
and Balfreit's Shine.
Shine. Feldin Kodome. Ayend Afalma Asagso Afrenya Shine.
Oh, it's right after.
Soldaring Sen Hayatsu Shaigreal. Vinlog Velda Nieren Sedai.
Well, let me go back.
Feldin. Naxo Yeso Yugra. A soldier.
I fear what they could do if they found a woman who could work with them. So this is after Luz Therin went and tried to stop the Dark One, and instead the Dark One, you know, cursed the male half of the power so that it drives men mad. So they're mad right now. There's a bunch of dudes out here losing their fucking minds, killing people. And so they decided to take these 10,000 trees and 10,000 wagons, give them to the Aiel, the original Aiel, send them out with the trees. And now Latra Sedai has given them this stone, this item, I think used for female Aes Sedai, to take with them. I think it's fascinating, right? If you think about it, Luz Therin theoretically is out here right now. Rand's past life, and Rand's ancestor is also here, but is not Luz Therin. Obviously, we know this. I love the reincarnation stuff where it's not like you reincarnated into your ancestor or nothing. Like, no, but your ancestor may be cosmically tied to the events that shape, you know, your pattern, that kind of thing. That's what it feels like, at least from this episode. But like, there are links and there are connections and there are things that, you know, are not quite destiny, but kind of feel like it. And I think that's fascinating.
Rain Sen Hayatsu Shaigreal. Vinlog Velda Nieren Sedai. Ortu Nayabo Shatane
Mirin. Lanfear's original name. Oh, now he knows about Lanfear.
Real Safreit. Sakarnen. Nupnishai.
And what she mentioned earlier.
Yalen. Sa Angreal Kaliendor. Sa Andilia. Sa Shalom. Sa Ruigutuste de Batel. Simwapsoe Dachen. Emanishma Ganevalon.
So they're trusting that to peace.
Wapsoe. Shine. Wala. Danila Vaka. Gata Fonai. Sagata Sajayanda Tumasanya.
This is their oath to protect that with peace.
Hota at the Orba.
And find a place where no one can harm them.
No sana other. Vakaiho Aes Sedai.
Look at this high-tech wagon. No, not his boyfriend. Oh, his husband.
Liet Aes Shet.
Look at these modern day wagons. I love it. They're not modern day wagons, but you know what I mean. They're like advanced wagons. Alright, one more ancestor. Probably. That's what I'm thinking.
To lead is to know where you came from. To understand the blood in your veins.
Come on, get up. You can make it. Don't stop.
Each step forward, a step backwards through time.
Oh, the guy clawed out his own eyes. Oh, buddy. Oh, here we are! Here we are!
Amdana.
Aj sedaj. Radi vrak sor. Ilan raga.
Jalati se.
Chia kai. Kama tueta, chelano valakai.
Valakai. Valakai ayas kadao.
Now, question. I know that we are seeing this through Rand's eyes, but do we think that his ancestor looks like this? And does Lanfear recognize his face? Or are we just seeing it as a representation of this is Rand living in the body of his ancestor? And like all of these men that he's lived in are not actually, you know, it's not actually what they look like. Is that what we're seeing? All right, Mirren Sedai.
Valakai.
This is the moment, the boy.
Valakai ayas kadao.
Look, guy, Gavane.
I'm gonna find out.
Aldinaya Sedane.
Ah, the true power. Yeah, that's right. I forgot this is
Tarmbolar Guirale. Asa ninte walati Tarmbolar luostare Athanalan. Come to it, so to say.
This is the song that Tuatha An had forgot. Or shall we say the true Aiel. And then it fucking goes to shit. Saved his fucking life, I'll tell you that. Run. Just run.
Blood ancestors.
You saw the moment they broke open the Darklands prison. Oh, I guess, spoilers. This is the moment they broke open that Lanfear, that Mirren, accidentally, sort of, broke open the Darklands prison. In search of power. True power. I like that it's not just like a tattoo, it's like it's scarification as well, like it's embedded in the skin, you know, in the blood. It's dope looking. Avi. Marked twice.
I'm sorry. I didn't understand about the sword, you see.
And what now you do?
I understand enough to know I'll never fully understand.
Oof. How long have they been in there? I don't remember how long they were in there.
Back.
To the tents.
The way he kind of likes that she demeans him. It's so funny. I have an affection for Rand. I like Rand a lot, actually. I know it's like apparently an unpopular opinion among show watchers. but I like Rand, so y'all live y'all life. Oop, oop, oop. Everybody evil. Oh, that throat slit. Oh God. I'm sorry, is she fucking Rand? Oh, she fucking laughing at you. Pause. 1 second. That was a lot. That was a lot to have happen in like 10 seconds. Less than. Woo, I feel red. I look red. Holy shit. Do I want to go back? Yes. That was crazy. Oh, Lanfear kills her. Lanfear kills her again. It's like the 4th time, 5th or something. Oh, that we've seen. Imagine watching your death over and over and over again. Ooh, not the jumper. That hit on Lanfear there. Oh my God, that's a lot. I wonder if you're also experiencing it, like literally feeling yourself die, or if you're just like seeing it like a third person out of body experience. 'Tis the question.
It's been 7 days.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the timeline.
Avienda came back 2 days ago.
Oh. Is he feeling her? Because they're still connected. So he must be feeling what she's feeling, right? Or is being in Ruidian enough to like cut her off from him and from the bond so that he's not feeling her at all, and that's actually what's worrying him more. There we go. Really? That was crazy. I don't know why, but I was not expecting to see that. So they've been in there for a week, parched as fuck. He waited for her to carry her out, because he could have come back 2 days ago too. And he waited for her. Yeah, it was a crazy fucking experience. Well, there we go. Oh my God. That was such a good fucking episode. It was very contained because obviously we only spent time in Ruidian. It's just a full episode devoted to Ruidian, which it deserves because it's so good. So much information from this. Because we don't get the other storylines, we don't have to worry about thinking about what's going on with them right now. Instead, we're just going to focus purely on Rand and Moiraine, because it was their journeys that we focused on today. Again, one seeing the past, one seeing the future, you know. Like I was talking about earlier, I just really like the idea of, let's talk about Rand first. I really like the idea of Rand experiencing his ancestors, but not his past lives, you know? Like we had the previous season, Matt getting a glimpse of his past lives through Ishamael and through the Horn. He also gets to experience some of what he used to be in the past through the Horn, the influence of the Horn. But this one we got to really sit with the past. But again, it's really cool that it's his ancestors, and he gets to know that not only are were his past lives important to the pattern, but also just the regular people who created his bloodline. Like, they're important people too. They were part of this. It's all kind of woven together in this, you know, beautiful tapestry of fate. And we get that scene in the very beginning of the episode where Moiraine reveals that it was her uncle that caused the Aiel War that ended up having him be born on Dragonmount and fulfill that part of the prophecy. And that it's all of these different people that think that they are living their own individual lives, but actually they are all part of the same pattern. They all influence each other, and it's all part of what one would call destiny or fate, you know? And, and you know, you get this idea of, is there such a thing as free will in a world like that? And the answer is yes, because we know from the conversation with, what was it, with Bear, I believe it was Bear who said it, that there are scenarios where other things happen, where one arrives but not the other, or they arrive but not with them, or, you know, like we get conversations like that. Even there's a different scenario where land doesn't come, you know, and in a lot of those scenarios they die, you know, or one of them has to die, etc., etc. Like, there's just really interesting conversation about, you know, yes, time is a wheel in the wheel of time. Time is a circle, but there are other times too. There are other things that could happen. That it's not, just because the past is the future and the future is the past doesn't mean that it's always the same past and always the same future. And so we get that idea of, it's not just about reincarnation, but it's also about your bloodlines and your blood ties and your blood oaths. And so we get the reveal in this episode through learning Rand's ancestors' history that the Aiel are not the Aiel originally, that actually the Tuatha'an were originally, the Tuatha'an are closer to the original Aiel in terms of what they promised, their promises, their oaths, things like that. The Way of the Leaf started with the Aiel, and they were supposed to keep that oath, that promise towards non-violence, towards peace, in order to protect these trees of life that were given to them by the Aes Sedai, and the promise to protect the orb whose name, I'm bad with names, so I'll get it. But the orb that Letra Sedai gave to them. And at one point, they were doing that for who knows how long, hundreds of years, whatever, until we get to the point where his other ancestor broke that oath and was ostracized. And that, of course, is where we get the modern day Aiel being born. Their customs, the way that they never fight with a sword, because that's the halfway point between violence and peace, is that if I have to do violence, then I won't do violence with a sword, because a sword is only for killing. But a spear at least has other functions. You can hunt with it. You can do other things that are useful to a community other than killing people, you know? So that's why Aiel are forbidden from using swords at the very least. I think it's super interesting that the Aiel kept the name Aiel, but the Tuatha'an abandoned the Aiel name, but kept every other part of their tradition. You know, the wagons, the constantly being on the move, etc. Whereas it's interesting to see what the original promise was and which half of the branch kept what part of the promise, right? Because the original promise to Letra Sedai was that they would take 10,000 wagons with 10,000 trees, and they would go out and try and find a place to plant trees of life, a place that's safe, a place where no one will bring them harm, and to maintain their oaths of peace, right? And so you have, and then of course it was the Aiel way, and they had the song that they sung in the fields back when Moiraine had first was practicing or I don't want to say practicing, during her studies. She's like a physicist, like the equivalent of a physicist, right? So, so she was doing her thing, and then that period of time, 3,000 years ago, they had a song that they sang in the fields. And so we know from the first season that the Tuatha'an are searching forever and forever and forever for the song that they lost. Do they remember the song? And at some point, both branches have forgotten the song. But now Rand knows the song, so he can bring the song back to them, which I think is fascinating. Anyway, but it's interesting to see what parts of that oath that each branch took. The Tuatha'an lost the name of the Aiel, but they kept pretty much everything else. But they didn't keep the trees. You know, they didn't take the trees with them, and they didn't take, or they may have taken a tree. I wonder, I can't remember if we ever find a Tuatha'an wagon community that have a tree of life. I don't think we do. I think we only have the one tree in the waste. But if that's the truth, then they lost the tree, they didn't take the orb, but they kept all other parts of the oath of the Way of the Leaf. And they kept all other parts of who they were, even their look, their clothes, their design, everything like that. They mostly kept that intact. But they lost the name Aiel. They don't remember their people's name anymore, and that they used to be Aiel. Whereas on the other side, the Aiel broke their oaths towards non-violence, and so now they took the name Aiel, they took, even though they're oath breakers, they took the trees, they took the orb, but they no longer follow the Way of the Leaf. The only remnant that they have is that it's sacrosanct to kill someone who won't defend themselves. They mentioned it in the last episode or the episode before last, one of those, that it's the only thing worse than not, what was it? What did she say, Avi? It was like the only thing worse than fighting and not fighting back or something like that is to kill somebody who's not fighting back, something like that. So they've kept that part of them that you absolutely must never harm people who are nonviolent, who have sworn themselves to the Way of the Leaf. And in fact, it's probably their duty to protect them, because Rand's ancestor promised, he was ostracized from the community for killing, but instead of leaving completely, instead he and his buddy decided to stay and protect them. Since they can't do violence, then we'll do violence for them. And the idea of covering your face so that it can't be seen while you're killing, so that the other members of the community won't see that their lost family members are killing, can't see their son, their brother, those faces being on the face of a killer. And that's why Aiel have to wear a veil whenever they kill. Love that. Love that. Like, you just see the remnants of culture and how they became what they are. Covering the body with stones to bury them. Just lots of stuff like that. Just really, really fun culture stuff. Love it. I love that whole sequence of him, struggling through the glass columns and each step being harder and harder than the last, and the guy clawing out his own eyes. Ooh, I wonder what he saw. Ugh, he couldn't make it though. He couldn't make it. So, and the fact that whole city, Ruidian, was created by the Aes Sedai themselves, seemingly the last, what did they say? Tamerlane? They were called Tamerlane at that time instead of Amerlin. One of the Tamerlanes wearing the jewel necklace or whatever, went in there, and they were oath breakers because by that point they had started to do violence, and the Aes Sedai set them up with a task that, all right, if you're going to be like this, if you're going to be violent like this, you need to see your past and understand why you're oath breakers. So they created Ruidian and the glass towers and everything, and gave them tools for how to choose wise leaders, wise heads of state, etc. You know, the wise ones and the chieftains all have to go in there, and they have to know their past and know their future and work together, you know. So I don't know, I just really love that. I love the way that culture is built in the Wheel of Time, and how past cultures are really full and how they impact future cultures. So like you can see, like nothing is ever created to be just like, how do I explain it? When you do world building and you create an idea for world building, and you get those kind of writers who don't think about why that is, like what part of their history made them decide to, I don't know, put gemstones in their ears, you know? Like, why do they do that? When you build culture, culture doesn't spring up out of nowhere. It comes from something. Usually something in the past, usually, frankly, something in the distant past. So whenever you get world building and it feels like it doesn't make sense because it doesn't feel like it's connected to anything, they just, like the writer just thought it was cool and so they put it in there, but there's no thought to why these people would start to revere, why are these people polytheistic and these people monotheistic? You know, like when you don't put thought into that and create a history, a reason for that, that's when you get like really shaky lore and really shaky world building. Like Tolkien was a master at that. Like you don't just, like every part of, you know, the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit, that whole world was created to link and to connect throughout time, and there's always a reason that certain things are the way that they are, why the hobbits look like this and live here and think this, you know, and it's because 3,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago this happened, you know. And I think that's good world building, and I love world building like that. It feels rich, it feels thick, you know. All right, let's talk about, oh, I love that little scene, by the way, with Avi and Rand right in the middle, where Rand had finished his journey and was going to look for Moiraine and found Avi having just finished her, let's say her initiation in the rings. And you know, they're connecting, but very reluctantly, because Avi likes to give him shit at every turn, as she should. And then you have him being witness to her breaking of the spears, and it's like really intense emotionally. Like he's been present for a couple of really emotional experiences that Avi has had. And I think she kind of, I don't want to say resents him for it, but it makes her uncomfortable because those events were very vulnerable moments for her. Like, and because she already kind of doesn't like him or doesn't want to like him, whatever, you know, it makes her more vulnerable, you know. But I think she also, a lot is changing in her life, and we learn in this episode that she knew that she had to become a wise one, and so she took on this journey to search for the Cauthon as a way to run from her obligations and her duty to become a wise one, because she loves being a maiden of the spear. And she decided to finally give in here. After having a nice little fight with Lan, where they were having a good time. I like the idea of her last spear fight being with Lan, because he's a blade master, one. So you know it was a fun fight, and it was a good fight. And it was friendly, too. It wasn't a violent fight. It was a friendly fight, which, you know, I think was actually kind of special in a lot of ways. But, and it was also a fight for pride about how spears are better than swords, etc., 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 and I'll show you how, etc. Well, we don't get the answer, though, because the wise one split them up. So we never get the full answer of who's better than who, but it was quite evenly matched. I liked it, though. Yeah, so we'll get more of Avi, I'm sure, in the future episodes. So we'll go ahead and leave Sophie there. Let's talk about Moiraine. Interesting stuff. So Moiraine, obviously, is seeing the future. We didn't see as many. I mean, obviously, we can't see too much of the future stuff because we don't want to actually give away what's happening with the show. So I'm actually very curious if we are going to see any of the scenes of those future moments that we saw in the later episode this season. And I'd be very curious to know, for show-only watchers, I'd be very curious to know what you guys think is going to be the real future. Like, which one of those, like, assuming that one of those actually will happen in this series and that we are going to see a scene that we saw at some point in a future episode. Which one do you guys think it'll be and why? I'm very curious to know what can't talk. Woof. I'm very curious to know what non-book readers, show-only watchers think of the future scenes, the clips of the future, and if they think that any one of those is going to happen and which one. Very curious. Very curious. We got a lot of flashes, a lot of like interesting stuff. We got Moiraine as the Amyrlin a few times, actually, I think. Moiraine as the Amyrlin, one of them, she's killing Rand, and Egwene is her keeper of the, keeper of the seals? God, what is Lyanna's title? I keep wanting to say Seeker, but that's not it. It's definitely Keeper, and I'm trying to remember what it is. Keeper of the something. Keeper of the seals or something like that. It's been a while. Sorry, guys. We got to see Egwene playing that role. Then they kill Rand. We got to see one where she is Siuan's fishwife. We got to see a scene in which, not only that, but we got to see a scene in which she is bowing to Rand in his village, and one where she releases the bond for Lan and then takes Rand as her warder. Although I guess we don't know there's no indication that those are the same timeline or the same futures, so it could be completely different futures. We got to see one where everybody was evil and they're all in the ways, dressed like goth, evil goth, forsaken looking clothes, edgy as hell. And they're all like on Lanfear's side, and they all kill Moiraine. We got to see Moiraine die a bunch of fucking times. Lanfear choking her out after kissing her. The one that gagged me so bad was the one with random Moiraine fucking. I have never ever thought about a possible future in which Rand and Moiraine were fucking for a variety of reasons. Like, obviously, I know from the books that Moiraine is actually bisexual. I know in the show it's debatable whether or not she's a lesbian or bisexual, or just those labels don't really apply because this is a fantasy world. So those are modern day, real world labels, and so they don't really apply to a fantasy world. But essentially, Moiraine in the books has had relationships with both men and women, canonically. Same thing with Siuan. Siuan is also canonically has had relationships with both men and women. So neither one of them were technically what one would call lesbian in the books. But I just wasn't expecting Rand to be laying pipe with Moiraine. I was gagged. Oh man, I know the comment section is going crazy. Can't wait to get on Twitter and unmute all these words so I can see what the people are saying, because you know, it's going to be a shit show online on Reddit and whatnot. Oh man, for a variety of reasons, because some people think that Moiraine is a lesbian, even though she's not. And so I guess it's debatable, you know, like so far in the show, they haven't presented her until this moment in any kind of relationship with a man. So people have made assumptions about Moiraine and Siuan. I have mixed feelings about it because I'm bisexual. And so there was sometimes when you watch shows in which there are sapphic pairings, a lot of times people will talk about them as if they are lesbian when actually one or more of the characters are not actually lesbian. They are bisexual or pansexual or something like that. And so you get this weird disconnect where if you try to talk about them like they're bisexual, sometimes you get like weird responses from people online, you know? So, but essentially it is kind of bi erasure to pretend like they're not bisexual. But this is a whole conversation. It's a whole conversation. But it's also, you know, it's a TV show. So, you know, everybody's is able to interpret TV shows and art as they will. So we'll leave it at that. But it's interesting that we did see this dress on one of the visions, by the way. The one where it was in the desert and we had Lanfear in her cool ass like gray pants jumper or whatever. It was dope as shit. She looked good. I loved it. I love both their outfits during that scene when she was slitting, you know, Moraine's throat in the desert. Like, it was interesting that one we saw like 5 different times. You know, like we saw like, and it's hard to tell, were we seeing the same moment or were we seeing 5 different ways in which that fight can go? You know, like she kills her like this, or she kills her like this, or she kills her like, you know, are we seeing like 5 different ways in which she gets killed, or are we seeing one fight and her getting sliced the fuck up? And it's interesting that so many of her deaths are like getting her throat slit. Does that make sense? Like we didn't get a lot of her just, you know, getting obliterated by the one power in a different way. It was just a lot of her getting her throat slit. Which I thought was interesting. A lot of throat stuff. Lanfear loves the throat because she was also choking her around the throat in one of the turnings. So, so interesting. Yeah. We got our first real meeting with the Shaido in this one. So we got to see a little bit of that. The other clan. The leader or the wise one of that clan and her big old headdress thing. That it wasn't her hair, it was like a thing that sits on top of her hair, but it was kind of dope, to be honest. Apparently she was married to a chief, and then that chief died and she married his son, and I think she said that the son was the one that was in the city, but I think we just saw that man get his die because he clawed his own eyes out. So looks like she's gonna be looking for a new husband, possibly. Yeah. No, this is a good episode. I think I've talked a lot, so I'm gonna stop yammering. But no, this was a great episode. I loved every bit of it. It was good to focus on Rand. We had a lot of Rand in this one. It felt really good to focus on him. He does kind of sit in the background a bit with the show, and I do wish they would pull him forward a little bit. But I think this season we're going to get more and more. I'm hoping that in the back half of the season we're going to get more and more of Rand really coming into his own. He now has the 2 dragons on his arms. Now he can prove to the Aiel that he is in fact the Karakarn. And he'll also he'll also, you know, have a little bit more of a foundation for proving himself across the other side of the spine when he goes back. We got another mention of the Stone of Tyr and Kalandor, and that sword matches the orb. What did they got? Akandar, something like that. Whatever, that orb. And we know from a previous conversation that that's the thing that Lanfear wants herself. She mentioned it very passingly in Rand's dream, so, you know, she wants that. And Moiraine is taking it. I didn't mention that, but they kept the orb, and they were supposed to keep it until the Aes Sedai came to take it again. So now they have an Aes Sedai who finally came to the Waste and went through into Ruidian, and now is taking the orb with her. So I think she thinks she's stealing it, but technically the promise is that they're supposed to return it to the Aes Sedai once they come for it. Yeah. All right. I think that's everything I'm going to say. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Going over to Patreon if you want early access and full access to this show. I also have other shows. I know that the audience for The Wheel of Time is not the same as the audience for my other shows, but if you are interested in my other shows, I have a lot of stuff. Mostly Asian dramas, mostly queer Asian dramas, so mostly Sapphic too. So if you're here because you like watching girls kissing, I watch a lot of shows with girls kissing in them. I also have some boys kissing, you know, so if you like boys kissing, go on over there too. And then I also watch Chinese dramas. Right now I'm on Love Between Fairy and Devil. It's like a Chinese fantasy romance show. I have another one that I watched, just recently finished, Till the End of the Moon. Again, kind of a dark fantasy. That one is darker. And it's a you know, enemies to lovers kind of violent romance, you know, dark romance. So if you like fantasy, like magic and stuff like that, I watch a lot of stuff like that. So those two shows have a lot of magic and fantasy stuff. So if you're into that, go on over there and watch those. All right, we'll go ahead and leave it there. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Whatever, all this ever, but you long gone, it don't matter.